Hi guys, it's Irene, and this I think is probably my first or second, probably second book haul. I don't remember, I'm not keeping track. And I have to chuckle whenever I use the word haul now because it's no longer part of my vocabulary, so it feels a little weird to use it. These all I bought at my local Goodwill, one of two stores that I tend to frequent because they have the best selection. And these are all brand new or very, very gently used. And by gently, I mean maybe read once or twice. Goodwill, I said this before, is a fantastic resource to buy books. I mean, it's a fantastic resource to buy just about anything, but for me, I go there 98% for books. There I have found so many brand new books. It's amazing. So if you are someone, as I mentioned, it's a great resource for those of you, and like me, who either don't want to pay full price for books if you don't have to, or just can't afford to pay full price for books. I suggest the Goodwill. Hopefully you have a good one near you, or maybe another used bookstore or used Goodwill, used uh, items type store like the Goodwill. Just don't go to Salvation Army. Don't buy anything from them. Don't give them any money. Anyway, we're not going to go into that. Meanwhile, back at the ranch. So I'm going to start, I guess it doesn't really matter, but I'll start with the ones I bought the most recently. And the first one is Orphan Train by Christina Baker Klein. This has been on my list to read for so long. I was so happy to finally find a copy. The first copy I bought had this nasty crease right along here. It was driving me crazy. So I returned it to the Goodwill, and I don't know how the Goodwills are in other places in the country, but here it's probably a countrywide. Anyway, you don't get your money back. You just get store credit. I don't have a problem with that. So I returned it and waited till the next time I went to find another copy, and they had four, none of which had a crease. So I went ahead and bought this copy. This is, I think I paid $2.99. Next is The Wild Irish by Robin Maxwell. This is about Queen Elizabeth I's experience with the pirate O'Malley and vice versa. Pirate O'Malley, a woman. How cool is that? And a major, big time pirate, whatever, like a pirate boss type. I used to have this actually many, many, many moons ago, but for some reason it wound up being added to a bunch of books I was giving away, probably to the Goodwill or the library. I give my used books to the library instead of the Goodwill. That's just me, whatever. Anyway, I went ahead and bought a new copy because I loved this book and I couldn't believe I no longer had it when I went looking for it. Robin Maxwell, a great author of historical fiction. Secret Diary of Anne Boleyn was very good. She doesn't have very many books, but the ones she has written are pretty amazing. This was also $2.99. Next is Anne Rice's A Tale of the Body Thief. I may have mentioned this before. When it comes to Anne Rice, I think those of you who've been following me for any length of time, even when I had my old channel, know Anne Rice, I'm a big fan. And with her books, I want them all hardback because I read them so often, especially the Vampire Chronicles. And this was when I had a paperback that I actually had to buy in hardback because I wore out my paperback copy. Found it in hardback, brand spanking new. I think this is the library copy. It's got that shiny plastic ness here. You know, this other extra dust cover. But this was $24 and I got it for $3. Again, brand spanking new. Pretty awesome sauce. And next is another Anne Rice. This is Memnoch the Devil. Sorry about the glare. Another book in the Vampire Chronicles series. Again, I had it in paperback. It wore out. Either that or I lost it. I've moved so much, it's probably possible. And I went ahead and actually found this with Tale of the Body Thief and two or three other of her books. Went ahead and got this one in hardback. I'm always so excited to find these because these are $25 books. $3. $3. And now, that was one trip. This is another trip. Jodi Picoult's The 10th Circle. And I've mentioned this before, I think, probably, that it was my bestie who got me hooked on Jodi Picoult. I read one book and I was gone. So I've bought quite a lot of Jodi Picoult books in the last year or so. This is one I have not read. I just noticed there's a little crease in the corner. But it sounded interesting, so I went ahead and bought it. This one was also $3. The other Jodi Picoult I bought is this one called Perfect Match. Ignore the $8.99 because I actually bought it for $3 at the Goodwill. Again, I haven't read it. It sounded incredibly interesting. One of the things I love about Jodi Picoult is she writes really interesting characters and puts them in sometimes in kind of fucked up situations. Next is Alice Munro, The Love of a Good Woman. If you have not read Alice Munro, and I think I've mentioned this before, read her. She is amazing. Every book of hers is short stories. She doesn't write regular novels. So it's fun to read them because there's a little bit of something different in each story. And the books all have a theme. I'm so excited to read this. Her stuff is really good. Kind of depressing sometimes, but very interesting and unlike pretty much everything I already own. And this is The Essential Dalai Lama, His Important Teachings. I don't know how familiar any of y'all are with Buddhism, but if not, don't worry about it. But I'm finally getting around to reading books by the Dalai Lama. I don't know why it's taking me so long, but I figured I would jump on The Essential Dalai Lama. I was surprised that my Goodwill actually had quite a few books about Buddhism. Surprising considering where I live. This was also $3. Okay, these are going to seem kind of weird. But they sounded so cool and they were so pretty. I found these in the SelfHelp Buddhism. The books about Buddhism were also in SelfHelp for some reason. I don't know why. This hardback book called Positivity. Take a moment to nurture yourself. These are tabletop. Yeah, tabletop. Anyway, books. You know, the books you leave out, maybe on like an end table or a coffee table book. That's what it is, coffee table. That are pretty and you can flip through, but they're not really stuff you read, like those. But so pretty. Let me flip through this one. You know, just interesting affirmation type things that words just kind of pick you up when you need to get you to relax. A book I will probably leave by my bed and read when I feel like I need a little something to remind myself to, take a step back. Kind of wipe this one down a little bit. White book. With all the other books at the store, it got a little dirty. This one's my favorite. Wish. It's making everything look yellow because of all the blue. Yep, my Goodwill receipt. This is even a better looking one than the other. Okay, yeah. Seems a little cheesy, some of the sayings. See the wondrous, welcome the impossible. Cheesy. I know this. Design your own future. Write your own story. Trite. Cliche. But so gorgeous. And I kind of hesitated. I walked around the store with these in my cart for a while to decide upon whether I wanted to buy them. And they just made me happy. I kind of flipped through. Shel Silverstein quote. Each page here has an actual quote from an author usually. And then here just has, I think, wordage. Yeah. But it's so pretty. And it makes me happy to flip through it and read all these things. So I guess that's what matters. And I had a gift card left over, store credit. So I went ahead and just used it on these. This one was $1.99. I think at the day and that's a kitten. I think the day that I got these two, the green stickers were half price. So I actually paid $1. So I figured for $2 for 2 books that retailed probably, I don't know, probably a lot more than that. It doesn't say, but I have a kitten. He's very interested. Nope, here he comes. For those of you who want to see a kitten and never get to anymore. There's Kitty. I have only 2 more. I won't bother y'all anymore. Garden Spells by Sarah Addison Allen. My last book, where I went into the books I had read, I mentioned another book of hers, The Lost Lake, which was so good. I mentioned Garden Spells wasn't one of my favorites. I had a previous copy that I did not know was highlighted almost every, well, that has someone's name in it, but that's easily remedied, fixed. Just about every other line in the book was highlighted for some reason. And that makes it kind of annoying to read. So I went ahead and bought a new copy. This was $3. And again, her covers are some of the most beautiful. And my favorite, my cat is the favorite. Kitten, you're making this very difficult. All right. Harper Lee's Go Set a Watchman. If any of y'all are familiar with To Kill a Mockingbird, if you've read the book, if you've seen the movie, or neither, you should do both. Or if you've done one, do the other. You'll be very happy. This was a sequel, or is a sequel that came out God knows how many years after the original. Was it like 30, 40 years? 40 years? 50 years? Long time. And I was so excited when it came out. I wanted to get it in hardback, but at the time I figured I would just wait for paperback because I didn't think it was something I would read a lot until I got a new copy of To Kill a Mockingbird, and I have read it I don't know how many times. I figured this I should get in hardback. I found it brand new at the Goodwill. I was so happy. So happy. This was also $3. So that was that is everything that I got the last couple times I went to the Goodwill. You know, I usually try to kind of collect a few before I do this kind of videos. Although, who knows? I might not. Depends on what y'all think. Anyway, this is the back of my bear cat. Bear. Show them all your handsome face. Show everybody your handsome face. I know he doesn't like the light. There's my kitty. So, from me and my bear cat, and to you, happy reading.